Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Barrel Shop. The ABV Barrel Shop is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri, and is the world's first single barrel only liquor store. This business is owned and operated by Steve Akeley and Jim Fosnot. Head over to abvbarrelshop.com to sign up for their email and text distribution list. That way you'll know what they have in stock, what classes are coming up, and what barrel picks they have in the works. We are also sponsored by The Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers a fully customizable carrying case that allows you to take your favorite distilled spirits or cocktail ingredients with you. Whether you're looking for yourself, a customized gift, or logo items for your business or event, The Bar to Go can help. Check them out at thebar2go.com. Use the number 2 when you type out The Bar to Go. Did you know Neely Family Distillery now ships its popular distilled spirits directly to you? To order, simply call 859-394-3258. Tell them the ABV Network sent you. And now, on to the show.
Let's drink!
Welcome to the Bourbon Daily, the podcast about everything bourbon delivered to you every day of the week. Today on the show, I have Phil Collin with me talking about a special raffle he's doing where you can win a vertical of Pappy. Pretty exciting stuff. My name is Steve Akeley, and I am joined by my special guest, Mr. Phil Collin of Phil Talks Whiskey. Hey, Phil, how you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing great. How are you?
Good, good. So this is exciting stuff, huh?
It is. It really is. It's a lot of nuts and bottles in one fell swoop.
Absolutely. So we'll get to kind of the details, how you can get involved, how you can win this, exactly what's included in the package and all that in just a moment. For right now, you and I were talking a little bit before we got started here, and you were saying you had some kind of interesting stats, information, that type of thing about Pappy Van Winkle. Tell us, what do you got here, buddy?
Well, we could probably do 4 shows about all things Pappy Van Winkle, and you've probably done a dozen. But I just, first of all, I wanted to pick your brain because we'll talk about the giveaway, and what we're billing it as is the raffle for your chance to win the full lineup of Pappy Van Winkle whiskeys. And I feel like I have to be very careful on how I say that because there's always people out there to point fingers and say, that's not Pappy, that is Pappy, that's kind of Pappy. So I want to, in your opinion, when you go through the lineup, where does the Pappy begin? Where does someone says, I enjoed a Pappy Van Winkle the other night? Right. At what point did that start?
I see that stuff online too. I see that stuff online too. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to default to the person who owns the company.
Oh, sure. That's a pretty good idea.
That's not a bad idea because really, shouldn't that person have the final say because it's their product? And yes. we interviewed Julian Van Winkle. As far as I know, the only podcast he's ever been on where he's talked about a whiskey. He's been on like an Alton Brown, like a cooking show type of thing. So he's done some of that type of stuff. But when he's talked about the brand and the brand history and all that, the Bourbon Show is the only place he's done that. And we asked him that very question. We said, some people call Old Rip Pappy Van Winkle, and then other people are purists. They say only the 15, 20, and 23 should be allowed to be called Pappy. And, what is your stance? And he said, every item in the lineup, Old Rip, can be said, I'm drinking Pappy Van Winkle. It's all Pappy Van Winkle.
That's good to know. That's good to know. For me, it's usually, I start with the 12-year. I think I've heard people use the term face Pappy starting at the 15. I think that's pretty pretentious because, the 12 years coveting great stuff. And if people come and they say, hey, I had a great pour Pappy. I say, oh, what'd you have? And they say the Old Rip Van Winkle 10. I say, that's awesome. And I hope you enjoyed it. But just so you know, there's going to be some people who will point and scold you and say that's not Pappy. But I'm kind of with you. And let people enjoy what they want to enjoy. I'm with Julian Van Winkle, I guess, is the better way to say it.
Yeah. If you could only drink one, Phil, they crack, willing to crack open any of them. And you said, hey, we're just going to spend the night kind of chatting and stuff like that. I'll open one of these. I'm not going to open up the full vertical. I'm going to open up one. It's just for us to enjoy drinking. What would you select?
Easy. The Pappy Van Winkle 20. And my reasons are twofold. One, I've had most of them, and we'll talk about that in a second. And I truly believe that's the one I enjoy the most. And second of all, I think that Pappy Van Winkle 23 will almost be more fun to have as a prop and a showpiece and find this great occasion. Maybe my son Duncan, who's 8 now, gets married one day. But the 20, man, I would love to invite all these friends over and open up that bottle and just make one hell of a night of it and enjoy. That's the one for me. What about for you?
For me, I mean, I love the 20 as well. That's the one that I used to drink back when you used to be able to get Pappy Van Winkle.
Gone are the days.
I drank 20 as my reward I would give myself when I was a sales guy. But to me, the best one in the lineup, because I think it stands. You know, the big thing with Pappy is, does it stand up, and is it one of the all-time great whiskeys? And people tend to be kind of very critical of it, and I think that's wrong. That's ill-suited. And I think what gets them mad is the inflated prices, and when someone says, "Hey, this bottle is $2,500 or whatever," and then they taste it, they're like, "This isn't 20," and then it sours them.
Right,
but I think that the rye stands out as one of the great American ryes, and that would be the one. If I could pop open one bottle, I had the vertical. I win this thing, and I was like, I'm going to share one bottle with friends. I'd crack open that rye, and I think people would walk away saying, this is one. And I don't think a lot of people have drank that one. It seems like that's the one that's kind of forgotten a little bit. Right, it's fantastic.
So, tiny knife through my heart, small dagger. I was going to talk about if you've had them all, and I was going to say the one of the expressions I've not had a chance to sample is the Pappy Van Winkle 13-year rye, or the whatever year rye when they put it out. It's ridiculous. The one of the ones I've not had yet. Yeah, really? I got to get over to Bourbon's Bistro right now and fix that. Find a watering hole this afternoon and change that. So
some really, really amazing stuff. Do you think? I think the answer is no. Do you think anyone could ever take over Pappy as the king of the hill in the world of bourbon? And I just think it's so many things had to come together, and some of it was done purposefully, some was just by luck, but it's already happened, and I don't think anybody can ever recreate this. I don't think there'll ever be another equivalent of what Pappy Van Winkle is now.
Timing is king, and everyone else has a 28-year late start to try and build a brand and get it in the zeitgeist in that way. No, as far as like a super luxury premium brand that's crossed over to the mainstay that you can use as like a pop culture reference, I don't think so. I don't think there'll ever be another Pappy Van Winkle. The one fact of trivia I was going to share that was fun before we get talking about all the other great stuff and how all the listeners can end up with 6 bottles is that I was surprised when I found myself at the Fraser History Museum over the summer. They have a whole bourbon, wonderful section devoted to the history of Kentucky bourbon. And they have a Pappy Van Winkle display section about all things Van Winkle. And in there, signed by Julian Van Winkle, they have the very first bottle that rolled off the Buffalo Trace bottling line of the Pappy 20. It says May 30th, 2002. It's signed by Julian Van Winkle, just a little bit of evaporation in the top. Wow. It's a 20+ year bottle, and it commemorates the very first release Buffalo Trace did of the Pappy 20. So I can only imagine how much that would command.
Right, yeah.
And it's on loan from Julian Van Winkle and the Van Winkle family. It's very cool. Yeah. Cool to see in person,
Yeah. Have you ever given anything to the Fraser Museum on loan from Phil Collin?
No, I've got some dirty socks and an old concert T-shirt. I'm sure they'll be dying to
ask. As your fame grows, I'm sure they're going to be interested in that. They'll call you about that.
We'll see. We'll see. They put up a marquee of the great, wonderful local music shop, Ear Ecstasy, that was donated by the former owner. So who knows? Maybe one day.
Who knows? Yeah. All right. Phil, what we'll do next, we'll take a quick break. And then when we come back, we're going to be talking about this raffle, what charity it supports, what the great work that charity is doing, and how you can get involved and ultimately win yourself 6 bottles from the Pappy Van Winkle lineup. We'll do that in just a few. Let's talk about the people who make these shows happen. First up is the ABV Barrel Shop. It is the most unique shopping experience in the world of bourbon, as the ABV Barrel Shop only sells single barrels. Owners Steve Akeley and Jim Fosnot select. With over 100 distilleries on board to sell us barrels, we are home to the most unique and diverse barrel pick selections in the bourbon world. By signing up for our email, you will always know what we have in stock. In addition to the single barrels, we'll have a gift shop featuring ABV Barrel Shop as well as ABV Network merchandise. We are partnering with vendors like Art Eatables and Old Man Bay Signs to bring you unique items you can't find anywhere else. We will also have a 24-seat classroom where we are offering educational and fun classes like Breakfast and Bourbon, a series where we pair donuts and bourbon, customer barrel picks, and opportunities to learn from master distillers and other bourbon dignitaries. Best of all, we feature a tasting bar where you can try before you buy. All of this is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri. If you are in the St. Louis area, please stop by to say hi. If you're traveling in from outside the area, please take advantage of our hotel rates with the Drury Inn and Pear Tree Inn, less than a mile from our shop. This can be done via the links in our Visit St. Louis section on our website. Head over to abvbarrelshop.com to plan your trip. The ABV Barrel Shop. It's where single barrels live. Hi, this is Steve Akeley, owner of the ABV Network. We're sponsored by the Stave and Thief Society. This is where you, a bourbon enthusiast, can expand your knowledge and emerge a bourbon steward. In 2017, I completed my Executive Bourbon Steward certification. It's the most comprehensive bourbon certification program available and connects you with an expansive network of bourbon enthusiasts and professionals. Check out the full listing of in-person and online certifications and join the society today by enrolling at staveandthief.com. Okay, let's talk about the Neely Family Distillery. In 2018, I met Royce Neely at an industry event. He started appearing on our shows, and we became friends during my frequent trips to Kentucky. Today, he is amongst the leaders of young distillers leaving their mark on the bourbon industry. A visit to Neely Family Distillery yields insight on their unique family history, why their products are special, and gives you the opportunity to taste their whiskey, moonshine, and creams. Check them out at NeelyFamilyDistillery.com or visit them in Sparta, Kentucky.
Hi, this is Rick Brenner, and you are listening to the Bourbon Daily.
Shouldn't it be the legend?
Maybe.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. This is Steve Akeley. I'm joined by Phil Collin of Phil Talks Whiskey, and
Hey,
we're talking about an exciting thing that he's got going on. And tell us a little bit about this partnership. How did this thing even come about, Phil? Before we kind of get into the details.
Well, I'm a man of the people, and I meet savory and unsavory characters all over Louisville. So I have a good friend who works at Volunteers of America Mid-States named Dave Bell, and he told me that they happened their way into these products as donated from the wonderful people at Delta Dental. And he was wondering if I would assist in getting the word out and sharing the work they do, and also a chance to connect with bourbon lovers who might want 6 bottles from the Pappy Van Winkle whiskey family on their bar shelf at home. So I said, I would love to help you guys out. You do tremendous work, and it's bourbon, so right up my alley. So yeah, let's do it.
So let's keep the focus for a second on that charitable work. Tell us some of the things that this organization does.
Yeah, this is Volunteers of America Mid-States, and they're all about kind of helping people in the community reach their full potential. They've got 50 programs. They're in a number of areas. The Mid-States region, the Volunteers of America Mid-States, covers all of Kentucky, parts of Tennessee, down to Nashville and beyond. And they have these unique programs, whether it's housing, veteran services, addiction recovery, that are designed to promote positive change in the lives of individuals. So they really make a difference in individual and specific ways. And I just think the world of them. They do great work on a really needed basis and the communities all throughout the state. Yeah,
absolutely. So you get involved and tell us a little bit about the details. What do people need to know about this?
Yeah. So the first thing is, while you're listening, you can go online and see what the raffle is. It's one of these things. I wish we had been smart enough to get like a handy, easy URL to remember, but you can go to tinyurl.com and then /KY Pappy raffle. It's also all over my socials at Derby City Phil, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Phil Talks Whiskey. But basically, you want to go $100 raffle ticket, and the grand prize winner gets all 6, one of each of these. I'm telling you, you'll be the envy of your neighborhood, city, state, country. And I always want to be specific. So here are the bottles everyone would win. Old Rip Van Winkle, the 10-year. The Van Winkle Special Reserve, 12-year, Pappy 12, as some would call it. Van Winkle Family Reserve Rye, the coveted 13-year rye. Which, Steve, every other year, it comes and goes, right?
Right, it comes and goes, that one, yeah.
Never know. The Pappy Van Winkle Family Reserve 15-year, the Pappy Van Winkle Family Reserve 20-year, and of course, the Holy Grail, Shangri-La, the Golden Goose, Pappy Van Winkle Family Reserve 23-year. All 6 bottles are going to go to one winner, $100 raffle ticket, and you can enter as many times as you want, which is fun. Up to 2,000 total tickets, and when they're gone, they're gone. Either that or when the raffle ends, which is this coming Thursday, the 15th, December 15th at midnight.
So obviously we have a podcast here. We have listeners around the globe. Is this for U.S. residents only, or is it for Kentucky residents only? What's the deal?
U.S. residents. Delta Dental has been kind enough to facilitate the raffle and the auction. They've everything set up through the auction site, and they'll ship it to you wherever you are.
Nice.
Complimentary shipping. Yep, they'll arrange for all that. That's what they're taking care of. So anyone in the U.S. I don't want to speak on their behalf and say anywhere in the world. But I will say anywhere in America. I don't know about you, but if I were to win something that has a value of tens of thousands of dollars, I'd probably drive to Kentucky and just pick it up to make sure that it comes safely back with me. But if you win, you can do whatever you want.
Do what you want. Sure.
It's like whiskey. If you want to go home and open up those bottles and mix it with Code Red Mountain Dew, that's fine. Thank you for supporting our charity. Have fun with your whiskey.
So, and that grand prize is unbelievable. There's also a couple of other prizes you can win too, correct?
Yeah, this is what I'm really excited about. So they said, Phil, what else can we do to incentivize people to bid? What can we bring? And I said, well, I can lend two of my minor talents of things I enjoy doing. So we've got a second place prize and the third place prize. And, none of these are great as 6 bottles from the Pappy lineup, but I think if you're a whiskey fan, they're pretty great. And they both involve me, which, that's fun. So the first one is second place prize. If you win and you get drawn for the second place winner, I will go wherever you are in the 48 contiguous states, and I'll come to your house, your office, your treehouse, your clubhouse, your outhouse, wherever you are, and I'll host a personal bourbon tasting for you and 7 of your friends. I'll bring everything, tasting mats, bourbon balls, cups, the bourbon itself, and we'll make a whole night of it. We'll sip whiskey and tell some stories. There's nothing I enjoy doing more, and it'd be a great prize that we can give out on behalf of Volunteers of America Mid-State. So I'll come to you, and it'll be a blast. I promise. We'll have a lot of. I'll bring some surprises too. We'll do a bourbon tasting. Third place prize. And let's talk a little about Buffalo Trace. The home these days of Pappy Van Winkle has been for 20 plus years. And they're always so generous and so kind. And I reached out and they agreed that they'll schedule a private tour for you and 7 friends at the Buffalo Trace Distillery. We'll work out a time, dodge the crowds. Don't worry about signing up. We'll take you around and end with a tasting. And I'll make a full day out of it. I'll pick you up wherever you are, Lexington, Louisville, anywhere in the area. And I'll show you some of my favorite haunts in the Bourbon Trail. We'll fire up the Kentucky Cannonball. And we'll do a day of touring in Bourbon Country, with the highlight being the visit to the Buffalo Trace Distillery and a private tour and tasting of the grounds. Pretty good second and third place prize if you don't manage to win the Grand Enchilada, I think.
Yeah, not too bad. So exciting stuff. I think anybody would be pleased to do that. Great time of the year to win something like that, obviously.
And Buffalo Trace, just a shout out. Sometimes I feel like people get snarky with Buffalo Trace, the hard to find bourbon, stuff like that. They, among others, they're not certainly the only ones, but they're so charitable and they're so quick to say yes to give this tour. And, they're known for donating bottles to other causes. So hats off to Buffalo Trace for making this possible, too, as far as the tour at the distillery.
Heck yeah.
Tell
us a little bit about when do we have to act if we want to get in on this, Phil?
Today, Steve. Stop what you're doing. Still today. But tickets are going fast, so I wouldn't wait too long. When they're gone, they're gone. And the deadline, no matter what, will be midnight on Thursday, December 15th. But don't wait that long. Go ahead and get your tickets now.
Get your tickets now. Absolutely. Say I want to buy 1,000 tickets. Can I?
Yes. I don't know how much the warden would appreciate you buying $100,000 worth of tickets, but yeah, it's great. Go for it. No. Is that what that would be? Yes, $100,000.
$100,000, yeah. I don't know that she'd be too happy with that. But that being said, I did buy a ticket today, so I'm in the mix. I'm in the hunt.
Thank you for supporting. I bought a ticket too. I thought it might be a bad luck, but I want them so badly. Right. So if I win, I win. So.
Now, I assume there'd be blowback if I won now, but if you win this thing, I have no affiliation. I have nothing to do with this. Yeah. If you win, people will be like, son of a bitch. But hey, it's all legit.
Watch me win the private bourbon tour with myself, and I'll just drive myself around my favorite spots.
Well, you have to.
Think of worse
you
ways.
Want it, you got to take advantage of it. So, yeah.
All this reminds me, I don't know, there's an old Saturday Night Live sketch that I was thinking of, and it's David Spade, and kind of the only character he does, and he played the receptionist at like Dick Clark Studios, and famous people would come up to me and be like, and you are, and this is concerning, and then they had the grand finale of the sketch, and the smoke cleared, and like Jesus Christ walks in his glory, and he goes, I have come to see the airwaves that Richard Clark controls, to let the world know I'm arrived. David Spade was, yes. Do you have an appointment? So I feel like you're the gatekeeper and you're helping me get this word out. And you're like, yes, can you remind me again? What's this concerning?
Right, exactly.
Yeah. I love that old sketch.
Yeah, good stuff. Well, Phil, we'll wrap this one up as we always do by talking about where people can find us. Where can people find you? And then one last shout out, exactly how to get those tickets.
Me, which is less important, you can find me on Twitter where I say the witty things, and on Instagram where I post the pretty pictures, all at Derby City Phil. But more importantly, you can get information and bid on this charity raffle, Pappy for a Purpose, all 6 bottles for you. tinyurl.com tinyurl.com /KY Pappy raffle. And the links are all over the social media. I'm sure Steve will get it up on the ABV Network page.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll put it as part of it. It'll be, if you're listening to the podcast, we'll put it in the description for you. So you can just click on the link and go directly there. That sounds good. We'll have it all over social media as well. So check our web pages and we'll have it out there for you.
And Steve, if you win, I'm coming over for a pour. We'll bust open that 20 and we'll have a good night.
We'll do the 20 and the rye. And then since you've never done the rye, we got to open that one too.
Agreed.
So, yeah, that'd be good stuff. All right. For me, I'm an easy guy to find. I'm at Steve Akeley on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website, steveakeley.com. We've also got a company website. That thing's abvnetwork.com. Check it out because everything that we do is out there. Previous shows, blogs, so much more, abvnetwork.com. Hey, if you like what we're doing, get involved. Head over to patreon.com/the ABV Network and give us a 5-star review. It helps new people find the show, which is pretty darn important to us. If you leave comments, it helps even more. So please do that if you have a moment. And also, if you want to see us, you can come by and see us at the ABV Barrel Shop. We're here in Arnold, Missouri, the St. Louis suburb, and we'd love to show you some of the barrel picks that we've done and have a drink with you at our tasting bar. So on that note, Phil, we'll wrap this one up, buddy.
Thank you so much, Steve. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. For our audience, we'll have a brand new show for you tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Until then, take care, everybody. See
Bye,
ya.
everyone.
Peace. Before we finish the show, let's talk about some great companies that support the ABV network. First up is Moonshine Still Pro. Moonshine Still Pro has a full line of products to help the home distiller. Whether you want to experiment on the stove in your kitchen or you're looking for a bigger setup in your backyard, owner Russell Creed and his team can help. They have multiple still offerings, accessories, and even grain from their partners at Goldstone Mill to assist you in making whiskey on par with your favorite distillery. They can also help you with some fabricated parts you probably can't make yourself if you are attempting a DIY still project. Learn more or order your still or parts at moonshinestillpro.com. Another friend of ours is the Goldstein family at Goldstone Mill. The Goldsteins offer a variety of heritage and heirloom grains to make the finest whiskeys in the world. Plus, they are more than just a grain company. They are truly consultants to make sure the grains they are providing to you or your business meet your highest expectations. Additionally, they work with mills around the country, ensuring shipping is as low as possible for their customers. If you're a distillery, brewery, or even doing this at home, Goldstone can assist you. Check them out at goldstonemill.com, call them at 217-254-6613, or check in via email at hello@goldstonemill.com. Last but not least is the ABV Barrel Shop. While we don't get to play in the allocated bourbon game because we aren't selling the other products you have to do to get those, we do have access via our friendships in the bourbon industry to some really cool stuff. Have you ever seen your favorite craft distiller selling some really cool limited offerings only in their gift shop? I'm talking things like the hazmat offering Distillery 291 did for their 10th anniversary, or Neely Family Distillery's Papa's birthday barrel. They don't have enough of it to send it out to distributors, so they only sell it via their gift shop. Well, companies like Distillery 291 and Neely Family Distillery have agreed to sell us 2 or 3 cases of these offerings moving forward, meaning our store will have the access to some of the rarest whiskeys in the world. Way more difficult to come by than the allocated bourbon offerings with the national release. Yes, they will be extremely tough to come by, but if you're a customer of our store, you'll have a chance to get them. Get signed up for our email or text list over at abvbarrelshop.com so you don't miss out.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production.